How's it going, everybody? It's Matty here. It's about 90-something degrees right now. The AC here broke. And not only that, but we're in a drought. E3 is come and gone. And so here we are with little tidbits to talk about. But it'll likely be some time before there are big announcements, big news to really sink our teeth into. So welcome to the post-E3 drought. You know, for all the critique that 2020 gaming received, and rightfully so, there were a lot of events lying in waiting, always ready to strike. And now, here we are in 2021 where E3 is back, and once it comes and goes, there's no more announcements, no more news, and channels like myself suffer. So, ladies and gentlemen, today, doing things a bit different. We're just gonna cover a lot of tidbits, a lot of things happening across Sea of Thieves, Xbox sales in Japan, their growth there, Game Pass memes, which have grown into a whole entire conversation about the value of Game Pass. Last but not least, of course, we're going to be getting into some very special indies coming exclusively to Xbox that are receiving no attention. So I thought today we try something a little different. It is so hot right now. You have no idea. But anyway, we're lucky to be here doing this. So let's go ahead and dive into it. If you're new here and you want to join me in this post E3 drought, then by all means, consider, hit the subscribe button, maybe the like button, that'd be cool too. Let's start off with none other than Xbox's growth in Japan. This is so minuscule, but yet so significant. And the reason I say minuscule is because the numbers aren't gonna blow you away at all, right? But it is already getting so much better compared to the Xbox One. So for those who weren't aware, the Xbox One generation in Japan, calling it a flop is generous. I'm not even trying to be mean, just it was horrific. Their exposure in Japan is terrible. No one was interested in Xbox, of course, just given the reveal of the Xbox One and the games that came there, and PlayStation outright dominated them. I love my Vita, but even the Vita dominated the Xbox One, especially in Japan. So here's the thing, is that we have these new sales charts here showcasing the latest week of video game console sales. And what I like to see here is, of course, that PlayStation 5 is continuing its dominance in Japan, but with the Xbox consoles combining over 3,500 sales in a single week, I know once again, this sounds like nothing, but it's actually significant. What I want you to take a look at is the hardware sales in Japan for an Xbox One in 2018. 100,000 units. Look at the next one, the Vita. The Vita. 5 million at that point in time. The Vita. Look, I love my little handheld deck, never could. But the Vita dominated by multiple thousands of percentages compared to the Xbox One. So while a couple thousand Xbox console sales may not be a big deal, when your system falls under 50 console sales per week in Japan, I'm sure Xbox is joyful that it is actually growing there. So while this is not going to change the landscape for Xbox, I think it was actually really neat to see. And of course, as they continue to bring the likes of Yakuza, Judgment, now we're seeing, maybe other JRPGs. We know Eden Chronicles is coming in 2023 to Xbox Game Pass. As they continue to build that appeal in Japan, and I think Game Pass is going to be the conduit for that, we'll see these numbers grow for sure. Not just because Game Pass is so great, but really because it gives these JRPGs that most people would look at and go, that may be a little too risky for me, even if it looks neat, a chance to try them out, which is sort of the mantra of Game Pass. But hey, speaking of positive Game Pass talk, there was a meme that was really going semi-viral across gaming Twitter, and was thanks to Destin Legary, who was kind of joking with someone who was having an issue with Game Pass promotion because everyone commonly agrees, hey, this is a really good deal, right? But there are people who take issue with that, and they go around saying that you're being paid to say this stuff. And as someone who's been doing this for a while, I'm pretty familiar with the nature of saying, well, Matty, you like this, you don't like this, you're being paid for this. I've been called a PlayStation shill, Nintendo shill. I've been called an Xbox shill, or Xbot, whatever they call it. Bethesda fanboy, I mean, just, it doesn't matter, whatever you love and hate. Eventually, after doing this for a decade, I just sit here and go, I'm gonna get on camera, say my thoughts, and I'm probably gonna be called something one way or another. You literally cannot please everybody. And so it developed into this whole conversation on how great Game Pass is. And just everyone's talking about what Game Pass brings to the table. So it doesn't demand much of a conversation, quite honestly, but even the team at Xbox has noticed the love that is being spread across social media for Game Pass. It got it trending, and Phil Spencer said, we appreciate all the love the community is showing Xbox Game Pass right now. It motivates us to keep improving the service. Now, for me, I was away this weekend, just taking a little social media break, honestly, because it can just get really tiresome. And while I was gone, I came back and then saw this go viral, and it didn't affect the video, but I thought to myself, probably the bad time for me to drop a video critiquing like a mild part of Game Pass that could impact the future. I checked the reception to the video and it's still doing really well, so I continue to thank you all for that. I'm thrilled to see how well that video is doing. But anyway, yeah, Game Pass memes aside, I'm actually sweating. I don't sweat. But that aside, ladies and gentlemen, good for Xbox, right? It's pretty hard to get gamers behind anything consumer friendly because it feels like one way or another a company is going to fuck us over. So let's get into the next thing, which is that Game Pass often is touted as the game service that will kill game development. While I do have some of my mild concerns, I don't think that'll be the case. And one of the driving points for people is, well, Game Pass is going to stagnate the sales of games. How are developers going to make money? So they're going to start to tailor their games to what Game Pass wants, which are these recurrent updates, easy buy-ins, where it's like, I'm not going to spend $60 on this, but I'll download it for free and buy like $80 worth of microtransactions, and in turn, the companies make a lot more money. Well, what's happening now is we can see during the Steam sale that Sea of Thieves is topping the chart. In fact, there's a lot of Xbox present here. We see Master Chief Collection, which I think was thanks to Halo Infinite's fantastic re-reveal. We also have Forza Horizon 4, which continues to be a dominant game. But Sea of Thieves, probably the most Game Pass game out there, next to Forza Horizon 4. But Sea of Thieves was really the first game that I think all of us said, this is a Game Pass game. At least for me. No offense to Sea of Thieves, I actually like Sea of Thieves. But it's not a game I probably would have spent my money on. But I tried it through Game Pass, and I like to hop in every now and then. The new Pirates Life update came out. I'm going to try that out. We're going to do an episode of Defining Duke Ultimate on it. And what I love to see is that despite the mass amount of people like me who would download it, there's even more were going out and buying the game. And I think that's super encouraging for devs just to keep doing what they're doing, you know, whether it's Halo, Forza, it's Sea of Thieves. Like, it doesn't matter because these are so vastly different games. One's a first-person shooter collection for one of the most legendary IP of all time. One's an open world racing game, and one's a pirate faring game that just got a Disney update with Pirates of the Caribbean. Like, it's awesome, right? It's awesome to see. So just know that it continues to show that Game Pass helps sales. Outriders, we talked about that just a couple days ago, where Square Enix was really pleased with the sales for that game, thanks to Game Pass. And of course, MLB The Show was one of the best-selling sports games of all time on an Xbox console, likely thanks to Game Pass, as well as just the excitement and hunger of Xbox fans getting a MLB game finally that wasn't that RBI baseball game that's terrible. But still, you love to see it, right? And so that brings us to some of the July hits that no one's talking about. They're not getting any attention, and it may not be the flashiest month for Xbox, but what I'm excited about is a lot of these are through the ID at Xbox program, and all of these are exclusive or coming to Game Pass. I'll specify which. One of them is The Ascent. This is one I've talked about a lot, and this game looks wonderful. I cannot wait to play it. It's coming out July 29th. This is day one Game Pass. This is Xbox PC exclusive. It's this co-op twin stick shooter action RPG. It looks so good, man. So good. Looks like a nice, decent length too from what I'm reading. The previews were excellent for it. It's beautiful looking, especially on the series consoles, which they've shown some gameplay for. I have a really good feeling about this game. So that's coming this month. On top of that, we're getting Death's Door, which is a console exclusive to Xbox One and the Series X/S. This will be running at 4K 60 on the new consoles, but this is another one that looks phenomenal. Now, it's not a Game Pass game, but this is a great get for Xbox. And I think as you continue to see Game Pass grow, while this may not be on Game Pass day one, I really do genuinely believe that you're gonna see the indie scene explode on Xbox in the years to come. Not that people won't go work with PlayStation because they have a wonderful indie reputation, and I think their golden age was really during the Vita days. I mean, playing some indies on Vita, that was my machine, man. I loved that. That was the best. And not that they've fallen off at all, but based off how they've handled the PlayStation Store and the Vita Store, and I've heard about the communication, some indie developers are not happy with PlayStation. So I think we can't really speak to what Xbox's communication is like, but you can speak to their services and what ID at Xbox is doing with funding and what Game Pass is doing with exposure, where your goal is to have that, you know, one-hit wonder that will grow your next game and your game after that, because all it takes is one hit to get that reputation rolling. And so I think you're gonna see more indies continue to work with Xbox, just like we see happening with Death's Door and The Ascent. On top of that, there's going to be a next-gen update for A Plague Tale Innocence. This is also coming to PlayStation 5, so don't worry, but I've said this before, it's on Xbox Game Pass. If you haven't played it, please do. Wonderful game. Might as well just wait for the next-gen update. That's coming July 6th, but just a reminder for that as more stuff occurs in July. And one of the last games here, you may remember this video. We dropped a video at the beginning of this year talking about 10 upcoming RPGs that needed attention that no one was really talking about. One of them was Cris Tales, which is this beautiful looking fantasy role-playing game that sort of uses like a mirror to transport different areas of the game on screen to different parts of time. And there's something so compelling to me about time travel and visual effects. I think if it's done well, something like The Messenger, or in this case, Cris Tales, I think you can have something pretty special here because it's just visually stimulating and it's connecting with the theme of the game. So this is coming July 19th. Once again, this is going to be a Game Pass day one release, so it'll be there. I don't know where to start, right? Like, there are so many great indies coming out this month. Do not sleep on them. I felt like I needed to dedicate a whole section of the video just to say, hey, yeah, we're not getting our Halo Infinite or Forza Horizon 5 or Age of Empires 4, and sure, those are exciting, but we're actually getting something really great this month, and it's not even on that roadmap that Xbox keeps re-promoting of everything coming day one this year, which I think is really neat to see. So shout out to all of those games, and of course there's Microsoft Flight Simulator arriving on next-gen consoles July 27th. That'll also be on Game Pass. The last thing I do want to touch on here, y'all know, not a tech guru. I'm learning. I think I'm getting better. I think you can see that. But Windows 11 is a thing people are talking about now. We're starting to see it more and more. And what's interesting is a focus on gaming has been really incorporated with Windows 11. One of the things for it was direct storage. And there was this graph here I found online, which really, I think, properly showcases what direct storage for Windows does. Now, here's the hang up, is that direct storage is only supported on Windows 11. It's not supported on Windows 10, so you're gonna need to upgrade to take advantage of this. And in, I would say, the most simple way for people like myself, I think the best way to describe it is we've heard about how next-gen systems are going to change how quick load times work and how fast we get into certain areas and all that stuff. And direct storage utilizes your GPU to do those types of things. But unfortunately, like I said, it's for Windows 11 only, but it's a free upgrade. So of course that will come with its own set of potential bugs. Y'all know I can't stand the Windows updates, so I get a little nervous doing the full upgrade to it. But like I said, this graph here is a really good breakdown of what direct storage for Windows does, with the bottom left corner saying GPU supports far higher decompression bandwidth keys for both streaming and load time scenarios. CPU savings significant at next-gen I/O rates. GPU can support constant max I/O rates for load time scenarios. Data is at its smallest until the destination. So like I said, I think that's probably the most simplified way of putting it, where it just all boils down to load times, just getting to the next area quicker. And of course that'll impact game development with, you hear PlayStation talking about like the SSD, and we can see some of that impact maybe to not the highest extreme I feel with Ratchet and Clank, but enough of an extreme to be like, okay, I can see where we're heading with this generation and what it can really look like, and that's exciting. So anyway,
wait, before we get into any of that, we actually have significant news. This is recording after I had made my exit from the Sahara Desert, so I hope you all understand the difference in audio quality here. We're sitting in a nice air conditioner now. Xbox Cloud Gaming, now running on Xbox Series X hardware like we had originally talked about, with the servers being upgraded, and it says expanded PC and Apple device availability. We had heard this after E3 that Xbox was going to lift the restrictions and allow more people to join the cloud gaming world, and I cannot wait to actually try this. I'm sure I'll have a video out on it this week because I'm new to all of this. I've talked about it, but I'm so excited to finally lay my hands on it. So it says, now we're taking a big step forward to reach this vision. Starting today, Xbox Cloud Gaming is available to all Xbox Game Pass Ultimate members with Windows 10 PCs and Apple phones and tablets via browser across 22 countries. If you're a member or want to become a member, simply go to xbox.com/play on Microsoft Edge, Chrome, or Safari on your PC or mobile device to start playing hundreds of games from the Xbox Game Pass library. Cannot overstate how excited I am to actually try this out. I've said it time and time out, so I'm not going to go ahead and bore you to death, but the idea of picking up these games that I'm in the middle of playing through and using them on my phone while I'm waiting to do certain things for my job, oh my God, this is going to be such an amazing move for my life. I cannot wait. So I'll report in later this week with some thoughts, of course, on the various podcasts that I do. But on top of that, you'll likely see a dedicated video talking about this in some way, shape, or form.
So anyway, just a grab bag of gaming news here in the Sahara Desert. So I hope you all found this somewhat interesting, and I'm gonna go pat off the sweat on my forehead, because this is actually, this has never happened before. Like on camera especially. I don't know if it's showing, but I can feel it. It's so oppressively hot. So I'm gonna go sit in the AC and pour water on my face. And until then, I hope to see all of you in the next video. So let me know what you're thinking about all of this Xbox news in the comments down below. An interesting blowout in a different angle. So fire away. Other than that, follow me on Twitter, follow me on Instagram. Those links are in the description down below. And a big thank you to all the patrons, all the members who continue to support the hell out of the content here, whether we're in the Sahara Desert or we're in the studio space. Y'all are here supporting it. Thank you so much. Stay sexy, stay active. I love you all. Peace.